We're going to just do a brief overview of the course and what to expect, and then we'll do our design thinking activity, have a brief now and answer session, and then there's an evaluation we'll ask you to fill out before we close. Okay, so you might notice there's the Wanaha icons all throughout this course. You're probably very familiar with this image as you've seen it in the last course. It covers the 4 different quadrants. We use this framework for planning out all of our courses. We used it for planning this orientation as well. And you'll see the little images of the lauhala, like the maps in the middle, and you'll see those throughout this presentation and within the course. For example, we started out with the ho'olohe, which is usually where you're building pilina, you're making connections. And we did our goal setting poll, and you introduced yourselves in the first discussion board for that section. We went introductions really quickly. We have a smaller team joining us today since there's less people. All of these people that you see, Kimberly and Frank and Dorothy, were all instrumental, as well as the rest of the team that's here today in getting this course live and bringing it to you. For the next objectives for this orientation, the first and most obvious is we want a time for you before the course starts to come together with each other and with myself to ask any now or questions that you might have about the course coming up. And we want to focus strongly on building pilina with one another through this session. You'll be doing some hui activities throughout the course, so it's really nice for you to get some time to touch bases and coordinate with one each other and meet one another. We're also going to do a design thinking activity that's going to focus on a unit plan. Ideally, this unit plan can then segue into what we're starting working on this week in the course. A unit plan you'll implement in the course. You use this as the basis for the activity, but if you haven't decided yet, no worries. It'll just kind of guide you through some of the thinking process. As you've noticed probably already, we updated the matrix for this course. In information, we've just added icons to make it a little bit visually more appealing and easy to use. We've also incorporated these icons throughout the course. So any concepts or topics are being addressed or brought up, visual reminder of them. We filled out this icon related to what we're doing in this orientation. So as you can see, even in something as simple as a 1-hour orientation, we're able to pull in a lot of CB and 21st century skills. You're familiar with these from our list, but I just want to highlight a few of your in products. For ePortfolio, you're going to have 1 unit plan and 2 embedded lessons. So your 2 lessons that you do, lesson 1 and 2, will be part of the unit you select. Both need to incorporate CB and 21st century skills, as well as some kind of relevant technology tool, and that needs to be supported with digital citizenship. The pieces that you're going to work most strongly on, and will support you through that through the course. And up in your ePortfolio. As with our previous course, you have the option to earn UH credit if you're interested in that. Maybe a master's in education, a PhD, or a certificate program. You would have to pay tuition fees for UH Manoa credits, but the PB credit portion of it is still free. If you're interested in this option, please reach out and contact Dr. Curtis Ho, and his email is available on the screen so that he can provide you with more information and the steps that you need to follow to do this. For our Hui assignment, you have 2 main collaborative assignments that will work with your Hui on. Sharing your lesson 1 in week 4 and your lesson 2 in week 6. You'll share it with your Hui, you'll provide feedback to one another, and then try to incorporate that feedback before you finalize your lesson. And Hui WHOI member will take evidence of your collaboration, whether it's a Google Hangout recording or some screenshots, shared documents, emails, whatever you choose as your collaborative format, and post evidence of that in our discussion board for that week. Start our breakout sessions. We first begin by discussing the collaboration format and the WHOI roles. By WHOI roles, we mean who will be responsible for reminding the WHOI about the collaboration or posting the discussion board evidence, those kind of things. Working for the most part with your WHOI today, with exception, Wayne, I know you will be working in throughout the course, but I'm sure Lauren can update you on what they decided for their collaboration. But you'll participate for this activity with WHOI 9. That's when you first jump into your WHOI, introduce yourselves to your WHOI members again, and then kind of out this collaboration for these 2 assignments so it doesn't sneak up on you, and then you can dive into your design thinking activity. Design thinking activity, there's 5 steps that we're going to go over. Pre-session preparation, which hopefully you are reviewed by looking at your WHOI members discussion board. Let's start in our activity with an empathizing, where you'll interview one another, building from what you learned about each other in the discussion board. You'll try to learn more information with the of this course, thinking along the lines of the unit plan, integrating technology, CBE, other 21st century skills, and to paint a clear picture of the strengths and challenges of WHOI members. From them, you'll identify a challenge and look in the ideate stage to possibly provide some solutions to one another. At the end, you'll share your ideas and your solutions with your WHOI members, and you'll come together as a class and we'll share together. We've approximately 40 minutes for this. Based on our first orientation session, a lot of the members said that just wasn't quite enough time. It tends to move pretty quickly, even though it sounds like a lot of time. So we'll check in with you guys, and we'll be in and out of your breakout rooms to see how things are progressing. We did do some suggested times in the handout that you'll work in. You can get the raising hand feature working. You can always raise your hand if you need help, but I think we'll probably just have Ty and I each jumping in rooms to keep track and make sure everything's going. Before we dive into our WHOI activities, does anyone have any questions? If you can raise or unmute themselves.
Muted. Let's see. They should be able to unmute themselves now.
Okay, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself by clicking on the little red icon. Okay, I see you're all unmuted except for Melissa. There we go. So if you have questions, you can now, and then we'll be looking to bring out into our breakout rooms.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get them ready for the breakout rooms. All right, I will be starting the breakout room shortly. Before I do, I just want to go over a few tips to ensure you have a smooth transition and can work productively in your WHOI. The rooms, there will be a 30-second delay before you actually enter the room. WebEx will automatically assign a presenter. Here we go. So if you do see a pop-up box asking you to start or join a session, go ahead and click yes. So you'll either see a pop-up box asking you to be the presenter or inviting you to a session. Regardless, go ahead and click yes. In the presenter role, you don't have to do anything extra. The pop-up box you will see will ask you to switch your audio. Click yes. If you do not, the name will be in the breakout session but you'll be talking to the main room instead of your WHOI members. So be sure to click yes for the audio. When in the room, you want to maximize your WHOI Google Doc. PC, you can just kind of mouse over the browser icon and select the document you want. Then click on that top box to make it larger. This open box in the upper right-hand corner to make it larger. It's okay to cover your entire screen. You will still be in the WebEx meeting. A 15-minute and a 5-minute notification prior to closing the session, and you'll see a pop-up box on your screen. So if you're working in your Google Doc, you will not be able to miss that little notification, so that way your WHOI can better manage your time. The last notification will indicate the session is closing in about 30 seconds. At that time, go ahead and start bringing your collaboration to a close, and you can minimize your Google Doc and just wait patiently to be brought back into the main room. You do not have to click on anything. If you want to click on the X, you can, or close, but that message will disappear and you'll get into the room. When you transition back, some of you may see a message stating that you are participating in an audio conference. Use X to close it or for it to disappear. Do not click on that red bar that says Leave Audio Conference. If you do, you'll no longer be connected to us. All right, if you need any kokua in the breakout room, click the Ask for Help button and someone will be able to jump in. And as Kasha mentioned, we'll be in and out of those sessions. So are there any questions about the breakout rooms? You can just type into the chat pod. Go ahead and mute everyone. Very quickly, I didn't go over some of my housekeeping slides, but I just wanted to show you how to mute and unmute yourself. I'm going to unmute you before you go into the breakout room. And you will see that your microphone is grayed out instead of red. If you need to immediately mute yourself back, just click the microphone and it'll turn back red. Hui ho, I'm going to go ahead and start the breakout rooms. To your breakout room. Okay. So they're all in. I should be back in about 25 seconds. I'm going to pass you the ball, Kasha.
Okay, thanks. Buddy, welcome back to our main group room. It looks like we have our icon back, so we just have kind of a sharing and then a question and answer time now. But see like the little happy face and the raise your hand. So the raise your hand button, that's a great one to use, and then we can unmute you so that you can speak, or you can unmute yourself at that point. But that way we can just kind of have some leanness. I wanted to take a couple minutes to maybe get someone from each hui to just share out a highlight or two of maybe one of the solutions you came up with ideate, or just something that you view as a highlight from your time together as a hui. So can one from hui 9 raise their hand to share out the whole class?
So in our hui, we were kind of unsure of how to get going, and so I think that once we kind of got going, the conversation sort of naturally or we went through all the different steps of the design thinking. So we did a lot of talking first after sharing about our unit, and then we were able to just spend the end part of the session basically just typing in for each other about the things that we had discussed and shared. So we were kind of just sharing that the conversation really built on itself, and every person that shared, after, you know, each other person kind of got our ideas going. So it's a good experience.
And can someone from hui 10 raise their hand, please, to share out with us?
So like, hui 9, at first it was kind of hard. Sometimes easier when you can see them in person, versus the voices or who's going next. But I think overall, we had really good suggestions and comments, good conversations, and then to get feedback on what you could do, or make something better or more challenging. Sorry, my daughter right now. But overall, it was good. I noticed as far as the time, a little bit challenge was trying to define the challenging prompt. I think when we saw some of our examples, we were able to take it from there.
We'll open it up now just to any general questions that you might have. If you raise your hand, and we'll unmute you and have it so that you can ask your questions about the course, about anything coming up, and we'll go from there.
Okay, the PLN assignment. I think I read it, but I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to make sure that I'm sharing. And supposed to be sharing like a Facebook page or something with people in this course, or how does that work?
For PLN assignment, your goal is to share your work from this course. So you might pick one of your unit plan or one of your lesson plans and share it out with a broader community beyond the course. So maybe if you're in one of the Facebook educational forums or a lot of the PLNs, you can sign up for first grade teachers or science teachers or things like that. So you find a space, other professionals, and then you'll share out your ideas or your lesson plan ideas and kind of solicit feedback and if you can get some comments from them, and then that's what you'll submit, your experience with that. So we're kind of trying to take the idea more on the lines of the knowledge producing and sharing for those 21st century skills, and taking the knowledge that you're doing now and sharing it out with others, and then getting some feedback.
Okay, great. That makes sense.
Any questions? pop into your head, of course, just email me as the week goes along. We have our 2 other sessions on Thursday and Saturday with our guest speakers. So we're to check that out in the course. The last thing we're going to ask you to do is have a quick a quick evaluation for you to complete. So if you can quick reflect on how this orientation session went for you, give us any suggestions about what we could improve. This is our first time, of course, of doing a synchronous orientation session, so we would appreciate your feedback on it. And to complete your orientation, mahalo for joining us, and we'll see you online again later this week.